trying to go back to the Lakers of old.
Yeah.
And hopefully it won't work for him. I don't wish him any good luck, that's for sure.
You know, I want to ask you a question, though. You mentioned that. Do you really think that Jerry West is going to sign Ralph Sampson?
Yeah, I do. I think it almost looks like, are you asking me?
Both of you.
Okay. I think that Sampson's just been trying to find a way out. The comments he's been making and stuff, it looks like a road to L.A. That's what, I mean, the way he went to Sacramento and just kind of unhappy. And I mean, to get your contract bought out, you got to be pretty, something's got to be going on there.
Well, first of all, you got to see if the guy's healthy. If he's healthy, I think he can help him. But just how much help he'll give him, that's something that remains to be seen. I think with Ralph's presence on the court, somebody's gonna have to sit down, Perkins or Divac.
Right. That's how it's going to chemistry.
Yeah, you got to see what's going to happen. It should be interesting.
What do you think about Tariq being on the team? I mean, now they got that guy that's kind of scrappy, can get out there and you know.
Well, once again, you got a guy who's a pretty good player, but when he's out there, he takes the place of someone else. So,
and in this case, it's Terry Teagle's minutes.
Byron or Terry Teagle is going to have to sit, who have given us a lot of trouble in the past. So once again, you got a pretty bad situation there.
And I think one of the things you have to consider there is, you know, we always talk about professional athletics, you talk about chemistry, and they have been able to maintain an excellent chemistry with the Lakers for years. But I think what Clyde is alluding to is you put a man in that disrupts a person's playing time, like a Byron Scott or Terry Teagle, then how will that chemistry be with that situation? And that's always something that no one knows until it happens.
That's true. Remember I called about a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and you said that Jerry West was an okay general manager. Remember we were talking on what the pickup he made to help him win the championship. And I thought of another one. I thought of Mitch Kupchak was another good pickup besides, who am I thinking of?
Oh, you talked about Bob McAdoo.
Yeah, Bob
how long
McAdoo.
did Mitch play?
So, I mean, there's two, and then when you really think about what he's done...
I just asked you a question. How long did Mitch play?
No, he just fit in for like a year. I mean, but that was, you know, that helped him out, though.
They didn't win the championship with Mitch Kupchak, though.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
Mitch was not healthy player when they won the championship.
No, but I mean, he was a driving force there.
We're going to have this debate forever, but I got to let people get in.
Yeah, but what about them getting Magic Johnson? I mean, from, you know, how'd they get him? Jerry West again, and Sharman.
Draft choice. We'll see you next week, John. Okay, we got to go to our line. Sorry about that. We got to keep them open. Terry, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
I'd like to add on to that comment that guy just made. I don't think he knows what he's talking about anyway.
Well, that's your opinion. Go ahead.
My opinion. Okay, but anyway, I think the three will probably help him in the sense that they can bring him in, and they can have him and Byron playing the guards, Magic be forward, and then have Worthy another forward, and then put either Body or maybe Sam in the pivot. That'd be a good move.
Well, you know, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I got to tell you, maybe John can answer that question, but I've been so involved with what we're trying to get accomplished. I haven't really thought much about what the other teams are going to throw at us.
I just still think it's going to be a problem. I think one of the things that coaches work so hard, I know Rick with you guys, let me put it to you this way, Terry. I'll give you a perfect example. You guys have built the chemistry of the team that you have right now, and you've heard discussion about trading Duck and trading this and trading. Could you see a new player coming in right now with what you guys have built and the camaraderie that you have amongst each other as players and teammates and fitting in just like everybody is right now?
No, it depends. It's a very tough situation, but it also depends on the individual player. If you bring in a Patrick Ewing or Akeem Olajuwon, it would take a little adjustment period, but you wouldn't lose too much in the transition.
Right.
Anybody with less talent, you lose a whole lot in the transition on offense as well as defense.
See, and a perfect example of that was Walter, who is the easiest guy in the world to get along with, but look how long it took him to really get to the point where he admitted himself right here on the show that he didn't feel a part of it until a long time. I mean, it's easy to say, come in, step in, do your thing, but when guys have been there for a period of time, it's not as easy as people think it is.
Well, can't you say the same thing about Danny Ainge? I mean, you know, personally, myself, I think they gave up too much to get him, because I don't see nobody giving up a first and a second round pick to get a 30-something-year-old point guard, 30-something-year-old guard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can understand you get a second round pick and maybe some money or some future considerations, but not no first and no second round pick. That's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I don't know you put Clyde on the spot on some of these questions, but what I think personally is that Danny Ainge was the length that they lacked the year before. I mean, I think he's a proven point off guard. He's a shooter. He gives them the outside scoring that they needed as a backup at the point and the off guard. And, I mean, I certainly don't fault Danny Ainge with the fact that the Blazers didn't get to the finals.
Well, I think Danny has been great for us.
Sure, I do too.
And the Blazers management has been great. Like the guy was talking about, Jerry West, I think the things that he has done has been great. And is just as well, the things that the Blazer management has done has been super.
Well, they don't get as much recognition for it because their name is not Jerry West.
Exactly. So you can't get into all of that. But back to the question of chemistry. It's even a transition period, like when a guy like Ala Abdelnaby comes in and plays with the first group.
Right.
I mean, we have to get adjusted to Ala.
That's right.
And it's still tough sometimes knowing that he's on the floor with us because you don't really know what he's going to do. And so either you run into him all the time or you anticipate a move that he's going to make. And it's no one's fault. You just have to maintain that cohesive type of chemistry that it takes to win games. And it takes a while to develop that.
And that's what your average fan doesn't understand. And it's easy for them not to, but they don't realize. I mean, it's no different if in the workplace, if all of a sudden you have somebody working right next to you that you don't know anything about them, never been around them, it takes you a period of time to get comfortable with that person. We're just talking about working. We're not talking about, I mean, and this is one thing we talked about years ago, is the fact that people don't take into consideration the fact that it's not just playing. I mean, playing is a small part. When you think about 48 minutes out of a day, you laugh at them. You go to a ball game, there's 48 minutes that you're actually on the court. You got 24 hours and 12 other minutes that go on, for the rest of the day.
Exactly.
So there's the time where that chemistry really comes into play that I think is really important. That's overlooked a lot.
Well, you got to have the capacity to get along well with your teammates, and that's part of it. I think you don't want to take anything onto the court that shouldn't be there. I think the only purpose you should have when you hit the court is to try to win the game as a team. And anything else is not acceptable.
Okay, Terry.
Okay, can I ask you another question?
Real quick.
Okay. Do you guys? I want to ask you this. When both of you guys' sons get older, are you going to encourage them to play basketball, whatever they want to do?
Well, whatever he wants to do is fine with me, just as long as he hits his books and makes his mark.
Well, Clyde has a ways to go for that. Mine is 8, and believe me, as much as I'm a basketball fanatic and have been for a lot of years, I've never put my son in a situation he's never played on a team. He likes the game. I give him an opportunity to play the game, but I wouldn't push him towards anything. Matter of fact, the thing he's talking about right now is soccer. So, whatever he chooses to do. But I think I've always, from coming up as a kid, watching the Little League parent, I had one when I played that was like that, and I swore I'd never put my kid through that. So believe me, and he's here tonight, and he knows that I've never forced him to do anything. Thanks for your question. Okay, Terry. We'll go to Chris. That's line 3. Welcome to PDX Sportsline, Chris. You're on the air.
Hello. Hi, Drexler.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'd like to know if you think the Blazers will stick with it they have or pick somebody up from the camp.
That's a good question. I think that question will be answered very soon. I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think you have very quality players. It's just a matter of choosing the guy who's going to fit in better with the other players. I think, really, you cannot make a bad decision with this group.
Okay, and if they do change, who do you think they'll replace?
You're so persistent. That's a good question.
Would you be general manager
once again, that's another role. I have to wear another cap to answer that question. Like I said, there's so many good players. I think you got Walter, Danny Young, Robert Pack, Lamont, and Enos Watley all playing well as Patio. I think Stuart Graves even played well in practice. So there are so many guys and so many things that could happen. But I think we'll find out the answers very soon. I think Jeff Petrie and Rick Adelman and Paul Allen, they're probably having a powwow tonight.
Right now, yeah.
We'll find out, guys.
Okay, thanks for your call.
Okay, keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Okay. I was kind of surprised today when I got to practice, and I didn't realize that cuts hadn't been made, and I saw Lamont and Pat come out of practice. I'm like, taking this further than I thought they would. I was really surprised. So we'll go to, line 1. Jim, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. What does Drexler think about Cliff Robinson starting over Duckworth? I think you guys would present more trouble with him in the center position. Seems like he always presents more of a trouble against the Lakers when he's in there.
God, it's hot in here. You guys, give me some slack, guys. I think both of those guys are very good players. I think Duck has been the center. We've done extremely well with him there. I think Cliff is very comfortable with his role coming off the bench and as the first big man in the game. And so things are, if they're not broke, then don't fix them. That's the way I look at it.
Okay, speaking of broke, it's time for our break. So we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after this message. And welcome back to PDX Sports. I see I got my floor director back, Dave, my mini floor director. But anyway, real quick note before we go to phone lines, and Jim on line 1 is next. But you made one comment that I haven't heard anybody talk about. I listened to Scott Lynn's show, The Fifth Quarter, and I listened to Steve Jones, and everybody's talking about Danny Young and Robert Pack and who should make the team and this and that. But I tell you one name that has not been mentioned very much at all by anybody that I've heard is one that I think probably should deserve the most consideration of any of those names, is one Enos Watley. I think he has played outstanding basketball, number one. Number two, he's a veteran. He's a number 1 draft pick out of Alabama. And number 3, he's a true point guard. And a guy like that with that kind of experience, people don't know, but Enos Watley's been around a while, so he is a veteran. And I think that kind of experience coming off the bench from a true point guard will make a lot of difference.
I totally agree with you, John. That's a valid point. I think, once again, when you get into these conversations, you got to really be careful about the things you say because I'm good friends with all the guys.
I know that.
But Enos Watley is certainly probably one of the most talented point guards in the NBA. Whatever problems he's had in the past, I don't know about those. But the way he's played the last couple of years, I think he's proven himself. I think Enos is ready for prime time.
Well, I tell you what, I don't care how they do it. I know he's injured right now. But, bend a little bit more, make it swell for a little while, keep him here a little bit longer. Any way you can keep him, Blazers, try to keep him, because I think that would be a big mistake to let him go. So we're going to go to line 4 we're on. Okay, John, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, Clyde, I just want to wish you a good year next year, and I hope you guys can, make it to the championship and really do it. Hopefully it won't be your last chance to get there. The other thing I was going to say is that, as far as the Lakers and Portland concerned franchises, I think the Lakers have always been a quality franchise. Yeah. They've been willing to do the type of things that they have to do to win, and they have a winning tradition.
True.
And Portland could have that kind of tradition, but they're a younger franchise, and I think their front office hasn't been as aggressive as they could have been. They're a little bit afraid to, cut people or do different things and make the moves when they need to. And Clyde, I know they've treated you fairly well now, but what would you say as far as getting somebody in the future, if they had a chance to get a bigger player, a bigger name player to help you out, where the Lakers seem like they'll do that type of thing?
Well, I think Portland has done that. I think with the acquisition of a Danny Ainge, that was that type of acquisition, the acquisition of Buck Williams. I think in the last 2 or 3 years, they've made major strides to make the right decisions. And I really applaud what they've done. I think they have been just super, and I think they really are committed to having the best team here in Portland, and that's winning an NBA championship.
Well, it's good to see him coming around now because we've been waiting for it for a long time, and it's about time, that we've been to the championship with the last 2 years. Do you think after this year, if they don't make it, you're going to break you guys up or not?
Well, that's hard to say because most teams take 4 or 5 years to gel and to reach their peak. I think this team has only been together. This is the 3rd year, and regardless of what happens this year, I don't see any major changes, but once again, I'm not in a position to make those comments. So all I have to worry about is what we have to do this year as a team and just try to do it as best we can.
Okay, well, good luck, man. I hope you guys do it. All right.
Thanks for your call. Again, we talk about the fact that you talk about the number of years, and everybody forgets real quick how long it took Boston to get back after they, went through their dry years. How long it took the Lakers to get back after when there was a year when Kareem was his first year. They finished dead last. So, and even as recently as Detroit, they lost to the Celtics for 3 years in a row before they even got to the finals. Then they lost to the Lakers twice. So, it's not, they look at right now and they don't realize what it took for them guys to get to that point.
Exactly. I think our team has done an extremely good job of getting places where teams never thought we would.
Oh, yeah.
And last season we were picked to be the favorites. Well, after 1 year, that's pretty darn good. And so there's a lot of pressure right away, and I think we handled the pressure very well. I think we came through with flying colors in the regular season and had a little misfortune in the playoffs. I think 1 6-minute period cost us the championship once again. So it's just a question of doing it right for 48 minutes and getting a little luck along the way and staying healthy.
Yeah. And, you got to admit that all that comes in. I mean, it's interesting the way that you put that, but it couldn't have been said any better because everything has to fit. And you have to have, I don't care what you say, there has to be a little luck in there. And, I mean, when you talk about that pass that went through Cliff's hands, it wouldn't have went through, would have been considered luck because you made the steal. So, you can look at a lot of ways. It was certainly lucky for L.A.
Definitely.
So from their standpoint, that was a little luck they needed, and that got them to the finals. So we'll go back to line 2. Victor, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Yeah, I got a question for Clyde.
Go right ahead.
Just a small one. First, though, Clyde, I'd like to thank you for all the enjoyment you've given us over the years. I really appreciate it, and my family's gotten a lot out of it. My question has to do with the new Blazer Sports Stadium. I'm just wondering what the status is on that.
Well, through the little Blazer news letter, the last thing I heard about it is set to go for 94, 95, and I think plans are coming along pretty well and look like we're going to have a new stadium. I'm looking forward to seeing the stadium built and perhaps maybe even playing a game in it.
Great. Okay. Well, that's about it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for your call. Okay, we'll go back. It's one of my regulars, Terry. He's got something else he missed. Okay, Terry, you're on the air.
Yeah, Clyde, what I want to know is, after getting there a couple of times, I mean, what are some of the adjustments that you have to make maybe this year, to get back to where you guys were last year, and even eclipsing, go ahead and win the championship?
That's a good question. I think those are the questions that we've asked ourselves, the whole organization, all summer. And I think everybody probably has the same answers. To do what you do, to do the same things that you did last season, but do them a little bit better. Pay attention to detail, execute a little bit more crisp, and just take care of business just like we did last season. I think if we do that, I think we'll have good success.
Okay, and who is your favorite football team?
Favorite football team?
Yeah.
I like the Houston Oilers and the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, okay, thanks a lot.
Terry, something, boy. I'm surprised to ask you who you liked in the fight, but if it was still on, he would have. I guarantee you. Okay, where are we? Okay, line 1. Josh, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I just wanted to know Clyde's opinion on a couple questions. First of all, I think Magic Johnson's the greatest player that ever played the game, and Wilt Chamberlain was talking about a few weeks ago, and that guy's pretty cocky. He thinks he's the greatest of all times, and he is, but he admitted that Magic Johnson's probably the greatest that ever picked up a basketball. I want to know Clyde Drexler's opinion on that, because I think there's a lot of superstars out there, like Michael Jordan, Drexler, Dominique Wilkins, and stuff, but there's only 2 legends in my mind out there on the floor right now, and that's Larry Bird and Magic. And I think those 2 guys are the reason that Drexler and these guys are getting the money they did, because they set the standard.
Well, I think the standard was set before those guys started.
Yeah.
I think Chamberlain and Cousy and all those guys set the standard. Baylor and West. Those are the guys, Oscar Robertson, Jabbar. Those are the guys that set the standards. I think Chamberlain may have been the best individual player to ever play the game. Most talented big man ever, period.
Well,
Magic's probably the most talented team player to ever play the game. That's my opinion.
Well, I tell you what, I was fortunate enough to see Wilt play, and I've never, ever seen a man do what he did at his size. I mean, I think that's what's missed a lot. The man is 7'2", and I seen him do things that people didn't believe could be done at that age, of basketball. I mean, basketball was very primitive back then. I mean, I really say that because when Elgin Baylor came on the scene, he was the first player that hung and shook and did things that just about everybody does now. And they didn't know how to accept that. But Wilt Chamberlain was a player. I remember my dad would take me to see him play, and before he even got to San Francisco, when he played with the Philadelphia Warriors, we used to get him on television, and I watched the man shoot 25-foot fall-away bank shots from a post position. Clyde was unbelievable, and I mean, make it like free throws.
I believe it.
I mean, he was incredible. So
he was way before his time.
Yeah, I can't take anything away from him, but it's so incredible to try to judge because the level of overall talent, and I think that's the key thing. You guys have to play Michael Jordan types every night, whereas they only had to play them periodically because there was only maybe a sprinkle of them on each team. One here, one there, where you have 4 or 5 guys coming at you every night that are great, talented athletes. I think that's the big difference. So when you talk about the greatest one, I really don't think you can pick some from that era because they didn't have the challenges night in and night out that you guys have. We'll go to line 4. Eric, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Howdy, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
First of all, I'd like to let Clyde know I'm a big fan and wish him well this year.
Thank you.
Also that I think he's just as great of a player as Michael Jordan. If he was in a market like Chicago, I think you'd see him on Wheatie boxes as well.
No doubt.
My question is, I have two real quick. Who has impressed you the most in the rookie season as far as the free agents and rookies? And also, who is the toughest player for you to guard, and who do you get most excited to play against?
Well, I'll answer the latter part of your question first. I think Michael Jordan's probably the toughest guy for me to guard. I think, but I'd rather play against him every night. So figure that one out. The rookies that have impressed me during the camp so far, all of them are very impressive. I think Pack and Struthers are the only rookies, really. Pattier and Watley are free agents. All those guys have played extremely well. I think it's just going to be a question of what the management staff wants to do. I think it's going to be a question of numbers as well.
And they've obviously played well, else they still wouldn't be there.
Exactly.
No question. Okay, that is line 2. Stephen, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Good evening.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Clyde.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, thanks. Say, this is a 3-part question. You can touch on these comments briefly if you would, please. First of all, do you think that the Blazers' mental attitude is going to be in effect this year, and do you guys look for that to be a little bit more of a positive factor this year? Number 2, how's everybody doing on the free throws this year? And number 3, has Rick and the team going to work a little bit more on some half-court offensive sets this season? I know that, the Blazers are probably one of the best running teams in the NBA, but I think a half-court offense that would be a little more slow and controlled would be nice to see out there. What's going to go on this season?
I think that our team is going to be pretty good this year. I think I've forgotten the first question that you asked me, by the way.
Go ahead.
I'll answer the last 2 parts of it. I think our team has been very good in the half-court set the last couple of years. So in that regards, I disagree with you. I think our team is very good. If you look at the Utah series last season, I don't think you can find a team that ran the half-court set any better. And I think our track record the last couple of years has been great in the half-court set. That is usually determined by the number of close games that you win. And we win an awful high percentage of our close games. So our half-court set has to be somewhat decent. I think it's way above averages, if not the best in the league.
You know what I think people tend to forget is because they're so anticipating the break. And it amazes me. I hear so many people talk about the half court, and they love the fast break and the dunks. I mean, they look for that more than anything. And they forget about the fact that you guys do execute the half court offense well.
Quite often. I think we work on that more than we work on anything. I think the fast breaks and all that other stuff is extra. That's really gravy.
Right.
That's stuff that you're taking off opportunities. I think the half-court set is our bread and butter.
And another thing, too, is that the half-court, the fast break offense is basically predicated by how well you guys play defense.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have the fast break offense.
Another point I'd like to bring up is the bread and butter of our half-court offense is Duckworth. And a lot of people don't realize that. But he is what anchors the half-court set. And he does a very good job of it.
Well, I get into such a thing about with our callers here. And, I mean, it's good. I love everybody to have their opinion. That's what sports is all about. But I've made one comment to a lot of people, and I told them, I said, with the exception of Elijah Wan, Patrick Ewing, and young David Robinson, who in the league would you rather have than Kevin?
I can't think of anyone.
No. And I told them, I said, you guys got to realize that, there's 28 teams, 27, 28 teams, and we have one of the top 3-4 centers in the league, and because he doesn't do exactly what they want him to do, or because he doesn't look, like David Robinson around the waist, they expect, they want to trade him. And I'd say Kevin's a fine center and a very talented center, and what they don't understand, which is really important, he's a young center. And, like you say, I mean, he's the backbone of the half-court offense.
Definitely, and I've known that for quite some time. I depend on him quite often. Kevin doesn't knock in those little short jumpers against the big centers. We're in trouble. we're in deep trouble.
Well,
and he does it with regularity, and that's what makes us such a good team. I think everybody just does their part, which allows Buck and Jerome to hit the offensive boards, which is why we're a good rebounding team.
That was another thing when he was on. They asked him and said, well, Kevin, you only average like 8, 9 rebounds a game. And I loved his response. He said, well, how many do you think we're going to get? I get 9, Buck gets 9, Jerome gets 8, Clyde gets 7. You lead the league in rebounding. How many more rebounds do they want him to get? And because of the fact that Buck and Jerome are such good rebounders, and you're the best rebounding guard in the league, there's only so many to go around. And the fact that he uses up the space he does to keep people away from the ball, he doesn't get credit for that either.
He doesn't get a lot of credit. I think Duck has a couple of shortcomings on defense, but everybody has shortcomings in their game. But I think he has many more strong points than weaknesses, and he's been very good for our team.
Yeah, well, I just hope one day, the fact that he's been an all-star 2 years, you would think that people would finally start to realize that he's there for some reason.
I think people really know that Duck's a good player, but I think, certain things, certain perception is a big part of the business.
Right.
And he's perceived as being overweight, and maybe, what comes with that is a little bit lazy. I don't think Duck is lazy. I think he works extremely hard, if not the hardest worker on the team, but he's just a big-boned guy. So I think you just got to get past the physical perception and just look at his production on the court.
Well, you said it earlier. The bottom line is what he does when he gets on the court and is win ball games. Okay, we're ready to take a break. We're actually a little bit late for break, but we're going to take them. We'll be right back after this message.
Two hours ago, John thought he might be having a heart attack. But he told himself the sudden pain in his chest would just go away. He made the wrong choice. Don't be a victim. If a heart attack symptom strikes you, get to the hospital immediately. New drug therapies could save your life. But delay is deadly.
Thanks to these airbags here, this job is now a piece okay, Claire.
But then...
Yeah, I'll tell you something, partner. I just might stick around a few more years.
But then...
No more dashboard du jour or Vince under glass, huh?
But Vince, look out! Even with airbags, Vince, you still got to remember to buckle your safety belt.
Now you tell me.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
And welcome back to PDX Sportsline. We're going to go right back to our phone lines with my special guest, Mr. Clyde Drexler. So we'll go to, where are we, Dave? I thought we had that one. No, we must have had that one because that's not on there. Okay, Terry, welcome to PDX Sportsline.
Oh, no, John, you already know I picked those.
I knew that's you.
Okay. So my question is to you, which special team do you think is going to do the best this year?
Let me turn you up a little bit. Okay, go ahead.
Which one of the expansion teams do you think is going to do good this year?
It's hard to say because they're all kind of up and down, but I think Miami's building a pretty good franchise down there, and Orlando, tends to play, I guess, as well as Scotty Skiles plays, and he's a talented player. But with those teams, it's hard to say. On any given night, they can upset you, and I think that's one of the things that Clyde talked about earlier. The strength of this team is that, to my knowledge, you guys haven't lost to one of those teams, at least I know at home, definitely. And I can't remember a loss to one of them on the road. I know you came close Minnesota. We throw that one out, but I remember that one. But with that exception, that hadn't been a loss to any of them.
No,
I remember when Minnesota came in and snuck one out of here.
We've had some close ones, but we've been very consistent with our play against the expansion teams. I think we've been very fortunate, and we've played up to par.
And if you go back and look at the records of, the top 6, 7 teams in the league, I'll almost guarantee you Portland's record's the best amongst expansion teams.
Yeah, plus when they got beat by Minnesota, they had just came off the road the night before, and they were coming off, they were coming off a day where they had just got off the road. So they was actually coming back from playing the other night.
And I think you guys had a big game and won a big game and came back and lost an easy one.
Yeah, that happens in this league. I think you got to just be ready to play each and every night, and if you're not, that can happen.
And Tony Campbell had an unbelievable game that night, too. So those things happen. Okay, Terry, you got anything else before we let you go?
Well, I'll just say, just watch out for Orlando because I got an opportunity to see him when I was down there.
Uh-huh.
So they're going to be pretty good.
Okay. All right, thanks for your call. Go to Glenn, line 3. Welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Hi, Clyde.
Hi, how are you doing?
I wanted to know how much time you spent with your other team members off the court.
Well, we spent quite a lot of time together, I think, on the bus, on the planes, before the game, after the game. I think it's quite a lot of time. And you really get to know them on a personal level. You get to know their families and everything about them. So that's what makes it such a unique experience. I think that's one of the things that I really like about team sports, the people that you're surrounded by and the friendships that you develop.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks for your question.
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to Keno, line 2. Welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Mom, that's me. Hi.
Hello.
Clyde, I talked to Jerome a couple of weeks ago on this PDX, and I asked him if he thought that they're going to go to the finals with the Bulls. And he said probably. I was wondering what you thought.
Well, I'd have to tell you the same thing. I think that the finals are a long ways away. I think if we take care of business on a daily basis, I think our end result will be the finals. But until we take care of the business at hand, I don't think we can look that far down the road.
Well, I just want to say that you're not only my favorite Blazer, but you're my favorite NBA player, and I wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much, and we're all going to need it.
Yeah.
Thanks for your call.
Okay.
Well, that was interesting. You're her favorite NBA player, but not her favorite Blazer. I'm trying to figure that one out. Aren't the rest of the Blazers NBA players?
I think so.
That went by me.
That went by me. Maybe we didn't hear right.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay. We'll go to line 2. Mikhail, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air. Hello?
Oh, this isn't Mikhail. This is Ross.
Okay, well, they gave me the wrong one. Ross, you're on. Go
ahead. Yeah, I just wanted to say that, everybody talks about, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan, everything being the premier players in the NBA, but I think Clyde is far and above the most underrated player in the NBA. And I think Portland's going to do this fantastic this year.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, I could have said that a couple of 2 or 3 years ago, but Clyde Drexler is certainly not underrated right now because he has proven to the rest of the league what he's capable of doing. And I think the fact that you've been a perennial all-star for the last 3 years and will be until you're ready to give him up, it took you time to get there. And I think a lot of that was the fact that you're playing the Pacific Northwest. I mean, it's a great place to live, but unfortunately, from a media standpoint, it doesn't get the recognition, that the other places do.
I agree. You don't make the everyday headlines in the other cities that the other players do in the bigger markets. And, because of where you're geographically located, that could mean the difference in big exposure and no exposure, even though you may be doing the same job. So it's just one of the things in the business that you have to live with.
I think it's a credit to you to be able to come to the heights you've come to in that market.
Well, I'm not going to let anything prevent me from just doing the best that I can do to help the Blazers win. And that's the main point. Anything else is gravy.
A lot of gravy around there. Okay. I have Mikhail, but I don't have a line, Dave. Okay? Well, we have a break. Not a break from the show, but a break from the phones until they get the names. They're all lit up, but they have to get the names. It gives me a good chance. Let's talk about the family for a minute. I know that's so precious to you. Let's talk about the wife and the kids and how things are going.
Well, they're all doing just fine. They're very healthy and just taking it easy. I think it's really a blessing to have 2 healthy kids, and we're really enjoying our kids. My wife and I are really enjoying life at this moment and just trying to do the best job we can as new parents.
But what is it like? All of a sudden, all these years, you obviously think about kids, and one day I'm going to get married and have kids. All of a sudden, it's here. You're married, kids.
And that's where you feel like, oh, my God, what do I do? But you do the best you can, and you try to provide for them in the best way possible, make sure that everything is there for them, and just try to nurture them and just be there for them.
But what's been I realize they're both young, very young. What's been the greatest joy so far?
I think my little son is just getting into basketball, and he loves the basketball. Everything that's good now is 2. And that's really just a joy just to watch him play and to play with him. I think that's been the most fun. Every day with them is a joy, but to see them interact and just to show their emotions is really something different.
Well, I tell you, I never forget as long as I live, I got really close with, my years with Nike and working with the players. And as you start to get real attached to the players and they go through the stage you're going, I remember when Phil Smith went through this stage and his girls, and the toughest part for him was right now where you are because he had to go on the road. Right. And there's things he missed. And I remember him, his wife and my wife were real close, and I remember talking about the amount of their phone bills because every moment Phil could get to a phone, he wanted to talk to the kids and what were they doing and this and that. And that would probably have to be the most difficult part.
That is. I think leaving them is probably the most difficult part of this job. But, every working father has to go to work every day, so I figure it's going to equal out. I think you're going to be going 8 or 9 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week. So that's the way I look at it. I think that is a difficult part of it, but it's something that's necessary. I think, of course, my phone bills are high as well because I want to figure out, has he done anything new? Is he doing what he's supposed to do? Is he eating correctly? All of those things. And, you just want to see what's happening with him.
Well, I bet your grandma is proud.
She's very proud, and she just spoils those kids rotten.
Hey, I know. I forgot to tell you when I talked to you in Corvallis that I know how she feels because I became a grandfather. Stacy had a little baby.
Congratulations.
Yeah, 8-pound little boy. And her and Eddie, matter of fact, her husband playing right there with the Raiders, number 33. But they're doing well, and 8-pound little boy, Eddie the third.
That's great.
And my wife, Laura, went down and spent about a week with him and had a ball and brought the pictures back, and just great.
That is super. Now, how do you feel being a grandfather?
Hey, I don't know, Clyde. I don't know, but all my buddies tease me, but what can you say? It's great.
You're still a young man. Does that make you feel any older?
Yeah, a little bit. Because I get razzed so much. Grandpa? I mean, well, whatever, But it is a great feeling. It really is. I mean, it's one thing, the children, but all of a sudden the grandfather, wow. Right. But it's great. I can't wait. He'll be coming up here. The Raiders get a break next week, and they're going to come up and visit, so I can't wait for that. Okay. We'll get back to our phone lines. Okay, we'll go to Ken, line 4. Welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Yeah, I'm a Lakers fan, and I had a couple things I'd like to respond to. First, your thing on Duckworth, being pretty much the center out there. As a Laker fan, if I could there's a few centers I'd rather have: Mark West, Brad Doherty, or Roy Tarpley if he had his act together. That's just my opinion, as far as a Laker.
No problem.
And I'd like to get Clyde's opinion on what does he think about the Blazers and the way they retire non-legends in the Coliseum. I mean, as far as numbers and stuff, people hanging up there in the banners.
And I got a question. I got a question for you when he's finished. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty good. The center part of it, I think we've discussed that. I think Kevin is better than all of those guys you mentioned. I think
for the Blazers.
For the Blazers, for this team in particular.
Uh-huh.
And I think Kevin is also a very talented player for any team, so you got to keep that in mind.
I'm just wondering, I mean, this build, Lakers seem to try to gel the same type of athletes, the structure of their, the way they're built. Ralph Sampson, if they get him, or Eldon Campbell, it's like they're all molded the same. Duckworth seems bigger, and Robinson always seems quicker for you guys.
Well, I think Duck is the better player out of all those guys you mentioned. That's just my opinion, regardless of how he looks. I think Duck is very strong. I think he's the strongest guy that you mentioned. He's also very agile for a big man. I think he has very quick feet, which a lot of people don't give him credit for. I think his production speaks for itself. So Kevin's the guy. I got to disagree with.
And the Lakers did retire somebody else that I think even deserves more than any Blazer that was put up there, and that was Paula Abdul. She's hanging up in the rafters now.
Well, I think the Blazers have done a pretty good job of retiring players because those players are very special to this community and this team.
Uh-huh.
And so you got to look at that end of it also.
And I think that's one of the key reasons why it was done. It was what was done for this organization and understanding that this organization is very, very young.
But you guys are going to run out of numbers.
Well,
almost everybody's important to the organization.
There's only like
I was
guys
going to say there's only 5 or 6 up there. If I'm not mistaken, there's Petrie, Walton, Lloyd Neal, Torzik, and Steele.
Yeah, but Blazer Bill's going to be next.
Who?
Lucas.
And Maurice. So there's 6 players, and they've been here 21, 22 years.
That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but they're not.
Considering what those guys
are not legends, though.
Well, but you got to understand, they're legends for this organization. You can go back and say, why didn't Philadelphia put Wilt's number up long before they did? Who was more of a legend for the 76ers than Wilt Chamberlain? So it's an individual team's, ability to do that. That's their choice. So you have great athletes that are out there now that do not have their numbers retired.
Exactly. And those guys
Blazer Bill up there.
And those guys are legends around here, and that's what it's all about, the Portland area.
You know, one question I had, if I'm not mistaken, this is the same Ken that we had the tickets for the soccer match this weekend. The number we had was we couldn't get you because we had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was gone or something.
Anyway, but we're going to, the next, I make sure I keep your number because I talked to Clive Charles, and he said their first playoff game they have, you'll get tickets for that.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Make sure you leave your number, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, we're late for break again, but Clyde's almost over. 12 minutes, we're through, but we got to get out of here and take a break. We'll be right back after this message.
Two hours ago, John thought he might be having a heart attack. But he told himself the sudden pain in his chest would just go away. He made the wrong choice. Don't be a victim. If a heart attack symptom strikes you, get to the hospital immediately. New drug therapies could save your life. But delay is deadly.
Thanks to these airbags here, this job is now a piece okay, Claire.
But Vince...
Yeah, I'll tell you something, partner. I just might stick around a few more years.
But Vince...
No more dashboard du jour or Vince under glass, huh?
But Vince... Look out! Even with airbags, Vince, you still got to remember to buckle your safety belt.
Now you tell me.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Well, we're talking. Off-camera talking. Welcome back to PDX Sportsline. We're going to finish up our last 12 minutes or so, and we're going to try to do it with all phone calls. Line 3, JW, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, John. Hi, Clyde. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'd just like to say, first of all, I'd like to say hi to all our Laker fans out there. The show wouldn't be the same without them.
Every week.
Second of all, I'd like to ask Clyde another really tough question, and you can try to dodge this one, but I'm pretty persistent, too. What do you think about the Olympic team, and what are your thoughts on not getting chosen?
Well, that's another whole issue. I think right now my thoughts are not on the Olympic team, but on the Blazers' regular season. I think that selection, I thought I was slighted. I thought I should have been on the team. But whoever they pick, I'm sure they're going to win the gold. I think there's so many quality players in the NBA that you really can't go wrong.
Who do you think is going to be their toughest job this time, the Olympic team?
That's a good question. Look like Yugoslavia?
Probably.
If they're together?
Yeah, good question.
Okay, well, good luck to you and the guys this season, and go win one for us.
Thank you.
Thanks for your call. You know, good question. I'm going to say it while we're letting somebody on line 1, but as far as the Olympic team is concerned, I don't understand why they picked it the way they did. I can understand their logic because of the season, but I can't believe they couldn't have got 20 guys or 24 guys together for 3 or 4 days and pick 12.
Wow.
Then you have a whole different attitude about the way the team is selected.
Well, I think again, this is just my opinion. I think the best way to do it would have been to just have a poll of the players. That would have solved everything.
And let their peers pick the team.
Exactly.
Good idea. See, they need to listen to more of the players' thoughts. Jeez, Beverly, line 1, welcome to PDX Sportsline.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I have a comment and a question, and I just want to say I agree with the people that have been calling in to say that Clyde is probably the most underrated player in the NBA, and I do think that his day in the limelight is coming soon. And then my question is, during the season, when the team comes out, you can see that they're just synchronized and their chemistry's all together, and they're just unbeatable. And then there's other times when I think something gets a little bit thrown off, and I think it's hard for them to kind of get back on track. And I wonder if they work on that, the chemistry part of it at all.
Well, we work on our execution. I think that's what you're talking about. Our half-court execution. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so good. But there are nights when you're a little bit more fatigued and your concentration is not as high as it should be. And maybe those are the nights where we don't look as crisp or as sharp.
Yeah, it's almost like you can just see it. Sometimes you guys are just so synchronized, and you know that nobody could even come close to beating you. And then it seems like other times when you get a little bit behind and you can't quite get the comeback, and it's just like something gets a little thrown off. But I know that you guys are going to do it this year, and you guys are a great team.
Well, thank you very much for your comment.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Go to Fred on line 2. Welcome to PDX Sportsline.
Hello there.
How you doing?
Just a comment for Clyde.
Go right ahead.
I like, as thousands of others in Oregon, would like to say that your team, all of you, have really made quite a bit of enjoyment for everybody. You're an explosive team. I hope you guys make it to the championship this year, and I want all of you to be safe and have a nice, safe season. And like Sean would say, you got to make those free throws. Have a nice season now.
And I agree with Sean. I think that's one of the things that can get us over the hump this year. I think if we're a better free throw shooting team, I think that's going to help us down the stretch. I think we missed quite a few as a team, and that kind of takes its toll during the course of the whole season. I think if teams thought of us as being a better free throw shooting unit, it'd be more pressure on those guys when we were at the line.
And be less opportunity to foul you.
Exactly. I think we capitalize on more opportunities.
Okay, thanks for your question. Okay, we'll go to line 4. Bob, welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Clyde. I couldn't agree more that you did get slighted on the whole ballot thing, but that's gone away. It's a done deal. And I want to just kind of go good, bad, and ugly here for the Portland Trail Blazers. I am a huge fan, always have been, always will be. And the good thing about all you guys who play for the Trailblazers, you're a class act, and that's not only that you enjoy playing the game here in Portland, but you enjoy living here, and that's a big thing. A lot of other cities don't have. They have the boys on the court, but the boys don't like living in the city. And you not only play, you give to us as fans, but you give to us as well in the community, and I thank you for that. Now, here comes the bad. And the bad is, charities, which you guys are going to work on, and every team just takes care of the weaknesses and works on them year to year, and that's how you wear rings. The ugly was, sometimes as a fan, I was embarrassed by the technicals and the ugliness as the game wore on. I mean, as a fan, I sometimes crawled underneath the couch. I mean, it got so out of control almost, and I just wanted to go in there and just throw a big timeout and settle everybody down. Do you, I know as a basketball player it must be very tough to keep your emotions, at a level, at a medium, but that's all I wanted to say. I really don't have any questions or anything. That's just basically my comment as a fan. And good luck this year, and we're with you all the way.
Well, thank you. I like to comment on it. I appreciate your comments. I thought they were very, very smart comments. To tell you the intensity of the game that you have to have every night in order to compete is incredible. I think sometimes you can let your emotions get the best out of you, and I think it shouldn't happen. But I think the more you're faced with those situations, the better you should handle them as an individual, as part of the process of getting older and maturing a little bit in your game.
Okay.
I think also, sometimes that's easier said than done. I'll give you a good example. We were playing the Bulls the other night. In the first period, our second period of the game, Michael Jordan gets the technical. And
it's a preseason game.
And this is a preseason game, and this is Michael Jordan. So it can happen to anyone at any time. And during the regular season, I think if you're tired a little bit, you're maybe a little on the edge, you're kind of frustrated, things are not going your way, it's very easy to get a technical. I think those are the things that we're going to try to keep away from or abstain this year.
Okay, great. Just take care. I was at the G.I. Joe parking lot at 5 a.m. in the morning to catch some tickets out here, and so I get 3 games my way, so we'll catch you this year live. I'm sorry.
Great. Okay, thanks for your call. Okay, we need to go to our calendar page and promote our PDX Sportsline T-shirt. And this is kind of a good story behind this one, Clyde, because that actually is where the PDX is not supposed to be black, it's supposed to be red. And I picked up my second batch today, and the lady grabbed them out. Susan grabbed them out for me, and she said, they made a mistake. I said, well, I'm sorry, but I got to take them anyway. So I said, Clyde will just get 2. Because I'm going to give you one of these, I'm going to give you one with red in it. But what I did tonight, I think about, I not only brought one for you, but I brought a double extra large for Gaynell because I know how the wives like to wear them big. So make some points when you get home. So can we throw that page up, or has it been up already? Put that up. There we go. The Goldsmith Company. And they just do a tremendous job for us And we're really thrilled with the artwork on the PDX Sportsline T-shirts, and there they are at 20 Northwest 5th Avenue, Portland, Oregon. And I tell you what, they have so many things there, but boy, their T-shirt line and clothing line is incredible. And I love that. I think they did a great job on that. So anyway, we did our work there, and I have yours and Gaynell's right there in that bag, and we're going to go back to our line. We have a couple of minutes left, Dave. Okay, John on line 3. Welcome to PDX Sportsline. You're on the air.
Hi, I've got a comment and a question. First, the comment. This is for Ken. I think a championship banner in June will look a lot better than Paul Abdul's jersey hanging.
Okay, touche.
And then the second question is for Clyde. Have you been convicted or have you been tried in kangaroo court yet this year?
Well, I haven't had either. I think, that's really funny. That adds a lot of fun to our team. I think that's something that builds, just builds the togetherness of the team and builds character as well. I think Duckworth is the presiding judge right now. And if I have my way, I'm going to be the judge in June. That way I can just write down everything that has happened and just kind of take a little log of everything, and I'll be ready in June.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Bye-bye. Go to Ron, line 2. Welcome to PD. Oh, Lee, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong one. Lee?
Yeah.
You're on.
I just wanted to say that the Blazers are my favorite team, and I never miss a game, and I'm with you all the way.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, did I hit the right one? Now we got Ron. Ron, you're on.
Hey, guys.
How you doing?
John?
Yes.
I don't see how you guys could say the Lakers aren't going to win the Pacific this year.
Well, because they didn't win it last year.
They're going to win it this year, no problem. I think as Portland found out, I think Portland can beat the regular season Lakers, but they can't beat the playoff Lakers.
Well, okay, you just said they were going to win the Pacific Division. Now, are you talking about in the playoffs or in the regular season?
I'm talking both this year. We're going to take it both. We just got too much.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
We will see. It won't be too long off. Okay, we need to pull because how many minutes are we out, Dave? 1.5? Okay. This is for a PDX Sportsline T-shirt. And Mr. Drexler picked that one. And that's Victor, our 6th caller, Victor S. So Victor will call you and get your address and everything, and we'll send that right out to you and find out what size. I got large, extra large, double X large. Nobody took the larges. Little guys, big people, everybody. Double X, big ones. So, but anyway, it's been a lot of fun. But anyway, we only have a minute, Clyde. I want to thank you so much for coming because I know what it means to you to be away from the kids, especially at this time and with the season coming. But I had so many people pressured me to get you on here that I wanted to get it done before the season started. So hopefully if everything goes right, we can have you on at the end of the season when it's over and talk about how well it was to win a championship.
Exactly. We can talk about those Laker fans.
That'll be a pleasure. Where are we on time, Dave? 30 seconds? Okay. One thing I want to say is that I just hope that that you guys keep the chemistry and the camaraderie that you guys have developed, because I've been to many practices and seen you guys together, and I think that's one thing that our Blazer fans, those that don't know, don't realize how important it is. And it is, and it's not phony, it's for real. You guys are really close. And
the guys are really close and they really care for each other, and I think that's one of the things that make our team what we are. I think it's genuine. It's not something that's phony. I think that's one of the things, that's one of the good qualities of this team. I think it starts at management and works its way down.
Well, as far as the team is concerned, it starts with you because you're definitely genuine. So I'm going to let you go on that note, and God bless you and the family, and I want to see you just stay healthy all season, because I think if you guys stay healthy, the rest will take care of itself. We're going to be back next week, and hopefully with Dave Waller of the Oregonian. I'm looking at the wrong camera. And, well, the other thing I'll wait on, it's real interesting, but we'll talk about that next week. As I say every week, God bless you, and if you can't be a good sport, don't play.